Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and highest honors to Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father in Paleo-Ancient Hebrew, to Yahweh Shai, the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, his name of Paleo-Ancient Hebrew. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone that rule well. And salutations to you brothers that preach, teach, and prophesy his word in truth and sincerity, who put our lives on the line in these last days to bring you this raw and uncut truth. The brother Ariaga from the Grand Rapids, Michigan camp here with another nifty lesson for those of the hopeful elect. You few brothers and sisters, bid you shalom, and you brothers and few sisters. All right, let's get into it. Parasites. Once again, wait, excuse me. All of these diseases that you have, even cancer being one of the major ones, because they have so many different types of cancer. Okay, all of these things are caused by parasites. It is a natural thing for you to want to cleanse yourself. And it's necessary because our people back in the day knew and understood this. And our ancestors knew that because we are susceptible to eating this defiled bread right here in Babylon. Okay? All of this stuff is so defiled, especially these so-called comfort foods that people continue to consume it, and it makes your body into an acidic environment where, these different, cancers and parasites, and they take over your body, these different sicknesses, even STDs, all of these different things are parasites. You look at them underneath the microscope to see that all of these things are parasites, and waste that they produce and that they feed off of are the portions that are the viruses and the bacteria. All right. But that's what they excrete. And so the longer they stay in our bodies, the more toxic level increases in our bodies. And then we get you can go into toxic shock. That's for one. You got too many toxins in your body, you can't go into a state of toxic shock. But for the most part, your body is just so filled with these that you have all these different ailments that you think that, it's just, it's because you need to change this up or that, or you go get a cream or something for a rash, and it makes it go away, but it tends to come back because the same parasites that are inside you, all right, the first thing to show that there's a problem is your epidermis, that's the surface of your skin, okay? And so, it's just in general a well-known fact in holistic world that parasites are the cause of the vast majority of these sicknesses, even Ebola, all the way down. These are caused by parasites, not just this virus, so you got to wear a mask and stuff. None of that shit. When it comes down to it, these parasites are in the foods or these drugs, because it's not food. It can't be classified as food unless it has nutrients that consume, especially when you're stressed out. Some people might like to eat a whole gallon of ice cream. It's just different circumstances because your body craves these things, and the reason it does is because of parasites within it. So you have an inherent feeling of, being occupied, and you thinking that you're eating these things for yourself. I don't know. I gotta stop eating this bad stuff. But then when it comes down to it, you feeding the parasites that's within you. And sometimes that makes a lot of individuals turn on a new leaf. They'll start smoking and, stop drinking as much, and those parasites start dying off, and the taste that you have for it. All right, the pheromones and the juices that it releases, or the feces that it releases in your body, go to your bloodstream. Okay, and it gives you the bloodstream. Of course, the blood goes up to your brain, and it gives you the false desire to eat something that you know you don't need to be eating, some fucking Dunkin' Donuts and Chips Ahoy cookies and all this bullshit. It's processed bullshit or with some white sugar in it. All right. It's a voluntary response from eating too much of these, home games where, or I say home games. Well, yeah, it's like a home game, but you just look, man. Stop falling into that whole category of wearing masks and shit like it's gonna protect you. All right. So let's get into cancer real quick. This is by a doctor by the name of Hilda Clark. Did a lot of research on her, and she did some great work. And I believe her work, her teachings, they work very well. She has a whole page on YouTube, right? Or an interview, a very powerful interview, which I'll show you a couple clips from. But all in all, go to your nearest farmer's market and get the things that you need to battle these these parasitic demons that's in your body. All right, so she's gonna go over it. And we're gonna go over a couple things, a couple scriptures to help round it out and solidify it. Let's go. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
But what is cancer exactly? It's an attack by a parasite, an unusual parasite, which attempts to reproduce its intermediate stages in you. I have to somehow get the word out to the people who are suffering that there is a cure and that it isn't expensive. They can do it themselves and they can be successful. Herbs that kill them all. Whether it's the eggs or the media or the cercaria or myrcidia.
These are all the stages.
These are all the complicated little stages. Are a wormwood combination, a ground clove, and the third herb is an extract of the green hull of the black walnut tree. You have to use them together because you have to.
All right, and that's something that I take off. So I make a tea out of that, and I don't add any flavoring or anything to it. And those are three of the main herbs. And it does not taste good at all, but at the same time, you need that bitter in your life, because if that doesn't taste good to your palate, and well, how do you think those parasites feel? It's killing them off, man. And it makes them flee out of the body. As to you eating things that taste good and it's acceptable to your palate, because it has the things that appease your parasites in it. A little sugar or a little this or whatever chemicals that they put in it. All right. But check it out.
And the third herb is an extract of the green, a ground clove. And the third herb is an extract that kill them all. Whether it's the eggs or the media or the cercaria or myrcidia.
These are all the stages.
These are all the complicated little stages. Are a wormwood combination, a ground clove, and the third herb is an extract of the green hull of the black walnut tree. You have to use them together because you have to kill everything at once. Otherwise, one thing turns into the next.
Right. How long? How long do you have to take this?
5 days or 6 days.
That's it?
That's it.
And what happened? The parasites are...
Yes. All the parasitic stages are gone. Now, you might think, well, the cancer still goes on. But it doesn't. That was the amazing thing. The good news is that when you kill them, all that growth factor is removed. That excess growth factor is immediately removed. And the cancer stops.
Hulda Clark says that her zapper, as she calls it, is a parasite-killing machine.
The zapper can kill viruses too. It is an electrical device. It just puts out a pulse of a certain.
I also have one of those as well. It comes, you can buy them on eBay, and I think it's like $25 or something like that. And there's some wires, and then it has some lights on it, right, to show you that it's on and it's working. And it has a cord coming from the bottom that attach with the gator clips that attach to like copper bars, right? These three, you can buy them separate. It's two copper rods. And remember, copper is a metal that they use to heal. It stops inflammation. It is a powerful metal, you know, a medicinal metal when used correctly. And what it does is when you plug it, like you put in a 9-volt battery on the bottom, where it connects at, and it will supercharge your immune system. And it will cause your immune system to basically go on a hunt for the red October, for all of the different viruses and bacteria. It'll follow that trail and come up to those parasites, and it supercharges your immune system to get rid of those parasites. All right, and you use these in tandem with the tea from the black walnut hull or the green walnut hull or black walnut, so to speak. Um, Ground up clove and wormwood. You know, very powerful. Like she said, all you got to do is drink that for about 5-6 days. Let me tell you something. It's very true. You know, I went on a fast and a couple times and drank that, and it will remove the parasites that come out your ass into the toilet. You know, when you're doing that cleanse, you pour a little alcohol in there in the toilet stool, and you watch those. It'll excite. It'll start killing and messing with those parasites that came out of you, and they'll start swimming around in the toilet. It's the most disgusting looking thing, because you would never think that so many of these things live inside you, and they do, and you will and can get overwhelmed by it easily. Okay, let's keep going.
You hold these two handles and you turn it on. You sit there holding it for about 7 minutes. Then you give yourself a rest for about 20 minutes, because what's happening is that lots of viruses are coming out of the parasites and bacteria. We get a flood coming out after the first step.
Yep. Yeah. And like she said, after that, you know, and you give your body a rest for 20 minutes, then you go back to do it, because it stirs up those parasites from, you know, their quarters, so to speak, the places that they're hiding, different corners of your body.
Minutes. Then you give yourself a rest for about 20 minutes, because what's happening is that lots of viruses for about 20 minutes.
Like I say, this app with 3 7-minute sessions with a 20-minute break in between. Okay. And that's making them come out, and then it's supercharging your white blood cells and your T cells, and they start attacking that shit. Okay, then you give it a rest and you do it again. You know what I'm saying? So this is a recipe for success. All these people that are getting these cancers, they end up going to get, you know, these second opinions and these different opinions from these physicians of no value. And what do? They end up putting them on chemotherapy, and chemotherapy, radiation, and the radiation does not discriminate between good and bad cells. They just destroy everything on sight. Okay, so there is your cure for cancer and for other ailments, right? Now, this doesn't have any particular sound, but look at these worms, these parasites crawling out of him. Look at that. Oh my God. So that itchy feeling that a lot of people get, you can feel it underneath your skin. Sometimes they call it, I forgot, not Graves' disease. I forgot what it was called. But they would say people are crazy and tripping and shit like that, you know. Oh, you're tripping. You know, the doctor diagnosed it as, you know, a mental disorder because they'll say they're not finding anything. But look at this. This is just, that's when you're jam packed. He's just full of it, jam packed with it. But, you know, it just goes to show a parasite cleanse is something that our people have been doing. Well, she got the combination of the clove, the black clove, or excuse me, the ground clove, black walnut, and wormwood. That combination came from the Native Americans. What did they do? They were using that annually to clean their body of different parasites. Look at that. That shit make your skin crawl. That shit so nasty. You know? And all of you, especially if you're prone to eating a whole bunch of meat, pork, seafood, hell, even chicken. Chicken has a lot of parasites in it because of the way they raise it on these false farms, you know? Yeah, your body is jam-packed with this, and it's good to fast and, you know, do that cleanse, a real cleanse, and flush your body of these different parasites, man. All right. Excuse me. Parasites are demons. A body polluted with parasites is a gateway for demonic oppression, right? Because it's an unclean environment. An unclean environment attracts unclean spirits. Just compare the two, and it makes sense why society aims to keep us all sick. A demon and a parasite, you see how they make them look. All right? That's why they don't just call them STIs, sexually transmitted, STDs, diseases, sexually transmitted demons. Okay? But this is the agenda that they have to keep you sick, to keep you in a broken state. Because then they can pass on
5 foods that contain parasites.
you know, the different drugs that they have.
5 foods that contain parasites, and most people have no idea. 1. Sushi. That delicious salmon roll. It can carry Anisaki's worms that burrow into your stomach lining. You cannot see them, but they are real. 2. Undercooked meat, especially pork and beef. Medium rare might taste amazing, but it can contain tapeworms that grow up to 20 feet long inside your gut. 3. Unwashed leafy greens. Your salad might look clean, but parasite eggs from soil or animals often stick to the leaves, always rinse thoroughly. 4. Berries. Looks healthy, right? But strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries can carry echinococcus or toxoplasma, especially when picked wild or not washed. 5. Tap water, especially in older pipes or when traveling. It can carry microscopic parasites like Giardia. It bloats you, drains your energy, and wrecks your digestion. Parasites are real, and they love your food. Share this with someone who needs to know that. 5.
And this is why it's a great idea for you to prepare your own meals responsibly. Cook your meat thoroughly through. Cook your goddamn salmon. Stop eating all this sushi and shit with this raw ass fish. Showed you before in a video. Our man's body was infested with all of these different tapeworms. Every inch of his body in an x-ray. I'm eating a bunch of raw fish and all these crazy seafoods and shit. You know, eating crab and shrimp and all of that shit. And that's not what the Heavenly Father intended us to do. That's why He gave us Levitical laws so we wouldn't pollute ourselves in such a way. and always be in a sickly condition. But you see Jake now, diabetes, all kind of issues, you know. All right, so let's keep going.
Cannot see them, but they are real.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. You can't see them. That video I showed you where climbing out the dude's face, that's, okay, he's just overflowed with them. Ain't no telling that motherfucker probably eats, pork wrapped sushi and shit. I don't fucking know. But goddamn. Look at this.
That is a tapeworm. You can find out if you have them by sitting in milk. It's called the milk tapeworm test. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill your bathtub up. Then you're going to put 3 to 4 gallons of whole milk in your bath. Then you're going to go sit in the bath for an hour. And if you have tapeworms, you will feel them poke their head out your butt because they love milk. If I had a tapeworm poke its head out my bum, I would be doing a full deworm cleanse. I would probably do like 3 or 4 rounds to get the eggs and the larva out. But I have seen tons of people pass tapeworms. Like, they are way more common than you think. This is why I cleanse 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah. Look at that big ass tapeworm.
That is a tapeworm. You can find a.
And I seen this video where I seen a video where they were doing surgery on this bodybuilder, and this dude eat like just a whole bunch of meat. And they did surgery on that dude, and they cut open his intestine, and they showed how many pounds of tapeworms they were pulling out of this dude. This shit looked like some damn ramen coming out this dude. It was just disgusting. They were just pushing, squeezing them out of his intestines, and they were just flooding out of them onto this pan. Yeah, man. Damn.
When you see this, what do you think? What's your diagnosis? You might be thinking that, but actually it's parasites. But what about this? You can say, oh, that's just hives. You're having a severe allergic reaction to something, and then you give them steroids or Benadryl, but that's not a good enough solution to the proper cause, which is parasites. What about this? You can say, oh, that's psoriasis. You need drugs for that. Actually, it's parasites. All these nasty skin reactions, dermatitis, parasites. In seborrheic dermatitis, with the white flakiness, you'd say, well, it's fungus or bacteria, but parasites will harbor fungus and bacteria. When you see this, what do you think? What's your diagnosis?
Yeah, so a person with this different eczemas, these different disorders, that's your body responding to these parasites in different ways. Your body is like, hey, you got something wrong. And that's why your skin in different areas inflame and act up, because that's your body's involuntary response to filth inside of it, or a parasite. Ecclesiasticus 37:27. My son, prove thy soul and thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. White sugar is definitely evil for you. Say it's more addictive. White sugar is more addictive and legal. It's more addictive than cocaine, crack cocaine. And it's legal. Okay? That sugar, that processed sugar, is a destroyer. It'll destroy your body's whole ecosystem. Alright? So that's why you're supposed to use, prove thy soul, alright, and thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that onto it. There's no way you should be sitting up here to still drinking Kool-Aid drinking, eating, making sweet tea or tea with white sugar or any kind of sugar and shit. Look, bro, you setting yourself up for failure. And you will end up a feeding ground for these parasites on a large scale. It says, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. All right? Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. All right? And it says, be not unsatiable in dainty things. Dainty, and it goes back to those fatty foods, greasy foods, sugar packed, processed ass foods and shit. All right? Says, be not insatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. Meats, all these different meats, especially porks and chickens, industrial, they have a lot of parasite eggs in them. And some of them, pork, without a given. You just can't cook that shit out of pork. It's just parasite meat in general. Okay? You're a damn fool if you eat pork, man. And continue to justify it. If you're a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American, that's one of the easiest things right now you can do. It's just start with pork and work your way to these crustaceans, fucking shrimp and lobster and all that shit. The cockroaches of the sea, and like, yo, I mean, people out here are looking bad and feeling bad, but it's often things that they can do as they take down their health in their hands and apply these things, religiously. It says, excuse me, all right? Pardon me for my yawns. It says, be not insatiable in any dainty thing, or too greedy upon meats. It says, for excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. And that's the waste, man. Okay? Your body will be filled with waste. Your body will become, a breeding ground for viruses and bacteria. Why? Because these parasites are releasing that in their droppings inside of you to get a response. So when you stop and you just pay attention to your body and how you receive certain things and the ingredients on the back of stuff, you have to be completely aware. Especially, I mean, there's nowhere you should be still eating a bunch of fucking taquitos and Doritos and shit like that. That shit will fill you up with nonsense and chemicals and parasites, man. All right? No reason you should. Check this out right here.
Appendicitis is the result of damage done by parasites. Inflammation in the body is due to presence of parasites. The presence of parasites gives rise to cysts and the formation of tumor-like growths. Parasites can cause excitability in the sexual organs, causing masturbation in younger children. If too many eggs are given, the liver becomes changed and the host will die within 2 weeks. This test was done on mice, dogs, and children. Parasites introduced through the vagina remain alive and multiply through the body. Most of the damage done is through parasite excretions. Parasites grow quickly, and a 51-meter-long tapeworm has been found on a 4-week-old sheep. These are photos from my families. The same in humans. 31-inch worms found in 5-year-old children in the United States. These children are autistic. The use of lower animals in human healing continues. Maggot therapy and wound healing continues to be experimented on humans, but now they're finding that while the maggots are eating toxic pathogens, what the maggots are pooping out are pathogens even worse than what was already infecting the wound. This waste is of worse consequence than the garbage collected. My husband and I were able to obtain a vial of tetanus vaccine. In this vial, we made 24 pools and examined the liquid contents under magnification. 21 of the 24 pools We saw a variety of toxins, including undetermined parasite eggs, skin material, lime rod material, algae, and fungus, and encapsulated toxic formations. Only 3 of the 24 vaccine pools had clean bacterial indicators. This explains how one vaccine vial can give different results or symptoms in different people. Appendicitis is the result of damaged by...
Damn, there it is. Okay. So it's not just from your food and the things you eat. You know, when you get these injections, these jabs, they bypass your body's natural defenses and go straight to your arm or whatever they injected. And, you know, your body doesn't know how to respond. Like she said, the autistic children had 13-inch tapeworms pulled from their body. Okay, these sexually transmitted demons as well. All of these, you know, different parasites, man, you look at them under a microscope, see them up close, like what they look like, their faces and their head. It look like nightmare fuel, dog. I'm not gonna hold you up. You'd be creeped out and disgusted at the same time, dog. You know? But I can't say this much. By thoroughly taking care of yourself and just doing these cleanses 2-3 times a year, regularly keeping yourself cleansed of them, you know, like Hilda Clark pointed out. I mean, shit, 5-6 days of doing this doesn't taste very good, but it's the minimum that you can do outside of fasting along with it to cleanse your body and your palate of these demons, man. Disgusting. Ecclesiastes 38:1. Honor the physician with the honor due unto him, that uses which you, due unto him for the uses which you may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. And I've been doing this in particular like 13 years, just working with herbs and myself, my family, basically every day, and, you know, just cleansing the body. It's medicine, dog, vitamins, you know, making liquids out of them and different consumables and cleansing that way, you know. It says, for the Most High, from the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and the sight of great men. It says, lift up his head, and in the sight of great men, he shall be in admiration. Right? Because everybody's going to understand the value of a physician. A lot of them don't realize it until they're sick on their deathbed. They understand how valuable a physician is. Because a great physician to have a connection with Most High, Yahweh Shai. Because you seek the kingdom of heaven first, you know, all other things is attainable, you know. It says, Ecclesiastes 38:4, it says, the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Oh, I don't like the way they taste and they look and all this other stuff. You gotta get over that, man. Okay? Oh, yeah, I'd rather get this shit over here, take these pills and drink these syrups that the dude I done got from the doctor and all this other bullshit. They give you these temporary effects, but then they come right back with a vengeance. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be very careful. But I always push that, you know, being a physician in this thing and sticking close to these herbs and finding out it's a constant uphill learning process because you'll find something. Now, the Most High has so many different medicines, like you say right there, unearthed. You know what I'm saying? That, bro, you always gonna find something new and want to add it to your regimen and stuff, and do your research and understand what it does. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the only way to get these fucking parasites out your body, man. And yeah, I gotta say it like that because, man, people come up with all these excuses just not to consume these things and better their health. It says, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such doeth he heal men, and taketh away their pains. Right. And so the Heavenly Father will bless a physician to be able to help you do these things. So it's also good to know how to self-medicate. Take these different, different herbs and medicines, man. You get your stuff together and stop always going to Esau to save you, and fuck all that. It says, Ecclesiastes 38:8, of such doeth our apothecary make confection, and his works there is no end, and from him is peace all over the earth. The one thing everybody has a need of, and is these herbs and these different physicians to show you of value, to show you how to use them, so you can commit, you know, anti-parasitic lifestyle to you and your loved ones, man. So you always have to keep your mind and your spirit open, you know, and search for something that will benefit you and those around you, reconnecting with the different medicines out of the earth. It says, my son, if thy sickness be not malignant, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. So the first thing you should be doing is praying and then fasting. That's the best bet right there. Start with prayer and fasting, even if it's just eating medium fasting and taking the herbs. But if you really want to cleanse your body, that would be the wise thing to do. It says, leave off from sin and order thine hands aright and cleanse the heart from all wickedness, which, you shouldn't be doing anyway. But like it says right there, leave off from sin and order thine hands right. All right. So don't get caught up doing all of this unclean, acts and doing all these unclean things and stuff. That stuff will make your body unworthy, contaminated, polluted. All right. It says, jumping down to the 12th verse. Then give place to the physician, for Yahweh hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. I'm like, I don't need that, I don't need this, I don't need no doctor. All right. Okay. And then you run your ass over here, Esau, with his Western medicine, he's gonna really jack you up. We're gonna experiment on your ass. All these experimental drugs and shit. It says, there's a time when in their hands the great sentences. After let me think. Let's see. It says for there's a time that hands there's good success. It says, for they shall also pray unto Yahweh, and he will prosper that, which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. And that's what I do. A lot of my family members and our friends, You know, I just today I was giving a friend of mine some black seed honey, you know, helping him get rid of a cough because of its antibacterial properties and antiviral properties, you know. Um, it says, he that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician. And what is sin? It's a transgression of the law, go against the law, to do your own thing. Like eat what you want and all this other shit, man. We're gonna see what happens. Like stupid games and win parasitic prizes, you know. But yeah, a real physician is able to purge your body. Now, only time you go to a physician, Esau, when you have some kind of traumatic injury, you gotta take your ass to the hospital. You got shot, got into an accident, broke something like that. They are not trained to be skilled in helping you recover and helping your body heal. That's just not happening. All right, but I pray you will edify. Go ahead and stop it right here. Do your research. Be circumspect of all these different. The biggest one in America being Candida, the parasite, because it's a heavy amount of sugar usage. You know, just be circumspect, do your research, and cleanse yourself 3 times a year. Go on a cleanse. Like she said, you only need 6 days. There's no excuse, man. So with that, you know, we'll get at you next time. Pray you will edify. Till next time, shalom.